Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June. I got my boy B Foster with me. What's going on, brother?
Hey man, we in that next frame of the year. That off season part. So
Yeah,
we
usually we'll look into what is free agent, potential free agent people. But today, Foster's going to do his segment on featured player of the week. It just so happens that this week's featured player of the week is an NFL prospect, one that me and Foster uh, wouldn't mind seeing in the Detroit Lions uniform at or being picked at 29 or later. So Foster, I'll let you. Without further ado, I'll step out the way and I'll let you have the floor, and you can talk about this person that's on the picture in case uh, our our uh, our viewers don't know who it is, and for our listeners, Foster's going to describe who we talking about today.
All right. So the guy we're talking about today is Quinyon Mitchell, who was a corner out of Toledo. So a guy that's kind of local. I won't say local to the area, but us Detroiters know that Toledo is only about 50 minutes down the road. And he's a solid corner with some decent measurables. He's about 6 foot, 195 pounds. So kind of average percentile as far as his size, but very speedy guy. He's a he was a track star in Miami. He ran a 4.3 a 4.35 40, which is in the 93 percentile amongst his position.
Mm.
So very speedy guy, and he's ranked. I've seen him ranked as high as seventh in his position, but that kind of just varies depending on what you look into. And he's projected to go anywhere from the late first round to I've seen as late as the second or third round. He really, came on as a corner in his last couple of years, his junior and senior year. Um, as a junior, he had 5 interceptions, 16 pass deflections, and on passes that he was targeted, he was at 32.4 QB rating, which is very, very good. Um, but as a senior, his numbers did kind of drop, which is the reason why he's not ranked higher as a cornerback. He had 39 tackles as a senior, 14 pass deflections, only one interception, and the QB rating on balls that on passes that he was targeted went up from 32 to 49. So not as strong of a senior year, but overall a what they would view as a day one a possible day one starter, but somewhat of a project because he does have the athletic ability, but there are some techniques that he does need to work on to improve himself and to move into that elite status as a CB1, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But overall, elite athlete, like I said, track star at in high school, and he's from the Miami area. So when you talk about powerhouse schools, you know, when we're talking about Miami, we're talking about upper echelon, top notch. As far as his pot, things that he's done well, he's a tenacious tackler, more so on receivers, not so much on running backs in the open field. That's what he has struggled in. But elite ball skills and a versatile guy, a guy that can play the man, that was able to play man as well as zone. Um, Things that he needs to work on is he does hesitate when getting in and out of his breaks, going in from that back pedal mode into that full on sprint. And like I said previously, tackling in the open field against those running backs. It's one thing when you're tackling receivers that you're defending or receivers that are in the open field, but those running backs can be very shifty, can be very strong, and that's what he needs to improve. But he's a pretty sure tackler um, as far as guys that he's latched on to and guarding. As far as his backpedaling and transitioning in and out of breaks, that's another thing that he needs to work on, and that will help him capitalize on disrupting plays and intercepting passes. Um, like I said, he had five in his junior year, but it did drop down to one in his senior year, and that may just had something to do with the fact that he was more unknown, and they weren't, QBs weren't as on alert to the fact that this guy makes some plays, this guy can't pick the ball off, because I feel that they probably did avoid him, and they were more conscious of the fact that this guy can make some plays. So I think that's one of the things that did knock down some of his draft stock, as well as the fact that he did play at Toledo, so he wasn't playing your Alabamas, Georgias, those SEC teams, those ACC teams. His competition was a little bit less. So, overall, as far as how he fits into the mold in Detroit, he will. I think that he has the physical tools, the athleticism to be a potential CB1, but he is going to have to work on some of those techniques as far as in and out of breaks, trusting his eyes, and the backpedaling and things of that nature in order to make that athleticism translate into just some of the intricacies at the cornerback position that he needs to master. But we would definitely, especially the fact that he is a sure tackler, not so much on the running backs in the open field, but just you know being able to tackle the guys that he's locked on defending. I think that he very much fits into that mold, and we need a guy that's not going to be overmatched physically, athletically. That I think that he fits as far as that's concerned too. But that is a featured player, a draft prospect of the week, Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo.
I can't give him a Lions roar. I usually get a feature players Lions roar because they're on the Lions roster. But hopefully, there's a guy like Quinyon Mitchell, or himself at number 29, because Lord knows we could use a decent corner uh, on that defense. So great job, Foster. Check us out on Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube. You subscribe to that channel. You can also check us out on Motor City Metrics on YouTube and all the streaming podcast platforms. Just check us out at Bleachers and Speakers at Bleachers and Speakers FFFCN, and check us out. Download the episodes. Peace.